Hi, I'm Valerie, and you're listening to The Beauty Brains. Welcome to The Beauty Brains, a show where real cosmetic chemists answer your beauty product questions and give you an insider's look at the cosmetics industry. This is episode 430. I'm your host, Valerie George, and with me today is Perry Romanowski. Hi, Perry.
Hello, Valerie. Great to see you back.
Good to see you. On today's show, we're going to cover a lot of questions, including how does Olaplex Bond Shaper Curl Rebuilding work? Are plant stem cells reducing wrinkles? What chemical and hair color damages the hair? What's a good sunscreen to use that won't sting the eyes? And is Balm Solid Moisturizer worth the price? But first, that inane Chit Chat.
Yeah, you were gone last week. Was it a road trip, a flying trip? Where were you?
We took a road trip. Baby C turned 1, and we went to visit family, wow. And we ended up driving 19 hours each way. We love road trips, though. We stop and see a lot of sights and make it a good time. Visit cool restaurants, coffee shops, points of interest.
Yeah. There's actually this app called a Road Tripper.
Okay.
And if you put in where your road trip is going to be, it'll tell you all these things along the way to see. Like wacky things. Like we did that once. We were driving back from Florida to Chicago. And we stopped in, I think it's North Carolina, to see the world's largest fire hydrant.
Yeah, my parents love that kind of stuff. You know, we'll stop if we see it, but we're more like historical points of interest. Like,
sure.
What happened in this area in, the 1700s, and, we visit the historical markers and that kind of stuff. When we do audiobooks related to driving through the area, so we can get a sense of like the history. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. And Baby C was pretty good. It's a long time to be in the car as a baby.
Sure. Now, what'd you do with the dogs? Did you kennel them up or something?
Oh yeah, they go to this little farm and hang out and have a great time. We were going to take them, just given the duration we were visiting family. And my parents have this crazy huge yard and a pool, and Butch loves swimming. But it would have been too much. That's a big drive for a baby and two 90-pound dogs.
Two big dogs, that's right. Well, we're glad you're back. I've just still been taking care of kittens. Actually, we're leaving on a trip at the end of the month.
Another trip. See, you act like I'm the one who's always gone. You're always gone.
Well, it's,
This was my first vacation in a year. This is, I've been on work trips, but I feel like that's a little different. But is this pleasure or for work?
We're actually going to Greece. My niece graduated high school, and we're taking her on a trip there. So that'll be Greece and Albania. So
can I be your niece?
I think there's some genetics involved there that aren't going to work.
No, Greece is great. I once spent a whole summer there working at a church has a camp there, a traveling camp, and it was awesome. You're going to have a great time.
I've never been, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm especially looking forward to it because I hear they have a lot of cats.
They do, and dogs, and they just kind of roam around. And they're allowed in the restaurants and whatnot. Yeah.
Well, I love all animals.
Great.
All right, you know what else I love?
Beauty news.
Valerie, this one came across my desk. My computer screen anyway. It's a new tool to grade cosmetic ingredients. Apparently, there's this new cosmetic ingredient platform called Expert ING, and it was created by formulation scientist Dr. Brijesh Patel. And you know what it does? It gives letter grades to more than 49,000 cosmetic ingredients. So I guess they have to take an exam to get a grade. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, the pitch is that, unlike some other ingredient databases, the grades are based on information from regulatory agencies around the world.
Wow.
It also explains what the ingredients do in plain English. It lets the users create profiles for concerns, whether like if they're pregnant or they have eczema, and it can alert you when a product formula or regulatory status changes.
So this is a database for consumers, not for formulators like me and you.
Right. I would see this as something along the lines of like the EWG Skin Deep database or something like that.
Yeah, I have some concerns.
Yeah, I'd imagine. So what do you what is the problems you think with this is?
Well, I think it's very difficult to just assign a letter grade to something without knowing the context in which it's used. So, for example, retinol. Retinol is great at a certain concentration, not great at
Sure.
another concentration, and you just simply can't look at a product or type in an ingredient and know what grade it's going to get in the product. The answer would be A through F, and I don't find that very helpful.
Yeah, it's kind of the same problem the Skin Deep database has, right? Except their rating scale is what, 1 to 10, you know, red, green, yellow, or whatever. So this guy, instead of doing 1 to 10, he's going A through F. It's like, how could even an ingredient get an A? Like, is water an A? I mean, too much water can kill you too. So how does that get an A?
Yeah, it's a little concerning again, just given that the fact that an ingredient is present doesn't answer a lot about its toxicology. And the reality
Right.
is, like, all products have to be safe. Hopefully brands are using third-party toxicologists or safety assessors to like ascertain through real exposure calculations this exact scenario. So just typing in something and getting information out of it, I think could be damaging, much in the way that EWG's Skin Deep database is damaging. Although I will say that EWG has cleaned up their act a little bit
Oh,
in
have
terms
they?
of,
Yeah.
the information. They're more realistic scores. They've taken a lot of heat over the years, and things that they said used to be bad, they now are required to say are fine, like sodium lauryl sulfate, because it is fine.
Right. Wow.
So
Is that some sort of legal thing that they ran into? I guess being in California, and a lot of lawyers there.
yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. But I mean, I'd like to see this do well, but I'm sure there's other challenges with the software as well. Like, at the end of the day, it's not really a toxicology platform. It's just a
Right.
consumer facing platform.
It kind of pretends to be. And the other thing, it says it talks about using government information, but then it also uses like Sephora's clean standard. And, you know, they didn't use like science to come up with that. That was just like what their buyers liked or didn't like. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't be like appropriate toxicologist stuff. So, I mean, the bottom line for me is that, you know, this might be a convenient database for somebody to look up ingredients, but I don't see how this is particularly helpful, and it is a bit misleading for consumers. You know, if a product is out on the market and if your doctor hasn't said, you know, an ingredient is bad for you, you know, use it. And if the product doesn't feel good, then stop using it. I don't know. It's too much. We're getting too much information about chemists. You consumers do not need to be chemists. You don't. It's more information that'll just make you feel bad.
Yeah, I think it causes a lot of stress. And at the end of
Yeah.
the day, you know, there's no reason to stress out, I don't think.
No. Right. Let the toxicologists and chemists stress. You just use the products.
Well, there was another interesting article about the future of beauty, and it's according to 5 top scientists, and this was in WWD.
You know, didn't they just listen to our last our episode in December where we make our predictions?
Yeah, they're not interested in
I
our
guess
predictions.
I guess not. Well, I was interested to see. So, who are the top 5 beauty scientists? And to be honest with you, I heard of a couple of these, but I hadn't heard of all of these. So, have you heard of these chemists?
I've heard of a few of them, and they're not all chemists in the industry. They maybe have different technology platforms or different raw material companies, but I wouldn't say they're necessarily like chemists, or in the context
Right.
of like the cosmetics industry, they maybe work across different industries.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would just think if you're gonna get like the top scientists, you know, I would have heard of them. I mean, I guess of course I know Ron Robinson. He's a cosmetic chemist guy, but Jasmine Aganovic.
Yasmina Aganovic, yep, I know her very well from Archaea. They're a raw material technology incubator. Josh Britton from
Gotcha.
Debut, I know him as well through the Independent Beauty
Okay.
Association. They're a biotech startup, so again, more on the raw material side. And then I've heard of Joyce Dilemos from do and Alec Batiste from Sweet Chemistry. But do you know what would have really been interesting if they didn't just talk to independent brands and talk to maybe a diverse range of companies of different sizes? Companies like L'Oreal, Procter & Gamble, Unilever, they invest a significant amount of money in beauty's future, and they actually even invest in small companies that are developing technology. So it would have been interesting to hear from people from there, but I would presume the reason they don't have anyone from that list is they wouldn't disclose what they think is coming.
Right. Sure, yeah. So with that in mind, let's see what they have to say, and we'll see what we think about it. They say from chemistry to biology, said the industry is moving towards engineered biotech ingredients and peptides built for specific biological outcomes. Yeah, I mean, I saw that at Suppliers Day, but, as far as I think, unless you change the regulations for what cosmetics are allowed to do, I don't think biotechnology can have such a huge impact on the way that these products function.
I think it's already happening, so this isn't a future prediction. This is already actively happening, as you mentioned. I think you're exactly right. I don't think this will change the benefit that consumers get, but I think it changes the story that marketing people can tell, and it changes what chemists have to choose from by choosing these. I'm a peptide fan, right? By choosing different peptides, you can do some really cool things, but at the end of the day, I don't think a consumer will notice a difference.
Having said that, I do think if we're going to find any innovation in cosmetic products and ingredients, it's probably going to come from biotechnology, because I think surfactants are kind of done and emollients are all done. So it's got to be these biochemicals and polymers. All right, another one, they say balance maxing and holistic wellness. Balance maxing.
Anything with maxing it's like a new, younger thing. We wouldn't get it.
So this is all about topical injectables, ingestion balanced alongside sleep, exercise, and stress management. I guess this is all reasonable life advice, but it seems like pretty weak evidence that it's a coherent product category. I mean, when you lump like a serum in with your sleep hygiene, is that going to make your serum work better? I don't know. It just sounds more holistic marketing or something to me than actual new science.
Well, this concept of ingestibles, injectables, all these things kind of living in a beauty routine is not a new concept. In fact, 10 years ago, ingestibles were really huge, and then they went away, and now they're a growing category again. All this kind of stuff is cyclical. I don't think this is going to be long staying. People have a relatively low commitment to ingestibles and injectables. Most injectables live out of a price point that most people can afford. I don't think necessarily injectables are rising unless population, it's just a factor of like population rising and population groups aging. So I think this is not something that will be long staying.
Yeah, but I agree with you too. It's going to be cyclical, and it's going to come back. Another prediction is that wearables are going to be tracking your skin, and you'll have these devices that monitor your hydration, your pH, your cortisol levels, and then the sensors will help you decide what products you should be using at what time. I don't know. I don't think we know enough about the skin or what makes it feel better or work better with this kind of detail. I don't know. This seems a little far-fetched to me.
Also, there's such a wide pH range for skin that's acceptable and biologically acceptable. Also, where is the skin on your body? It can differ. Are you male or female? What's your age? What time of year is it? So I think this will be a little more complicated to produce. And also managing cortisol and inflammatory markers. To think that a topical cosmetic product could or should influence those types of things is a really dangerous territory to play into. There's so many things that change cortisol in your body, and a slight increase isn't necessarily a bad thing, and I would hate to see what kind of damage this could do. Also, I feel like this is certainly medical device territory.
Right.
And also the thing about devices is they have low adoption rates. So how many people are going to get this and continue to use it over the years? I don't think so.
I mean, Right. If it was something like you put a ring on or a watch or something, sure. But those things are not gonna be able to monitor your skin like on your feet or something. So I don't know. Yeah, and I'm with you there. Like people buy these medical devices, these home medical devices, and are promised these things out. It's gonna improve your face, but come on, those red light masks don't work. So, all right, there is AI lowers the barrier to entry. AI will speed up product launches. That's probably true. I don't think they're gonna be making better products, but probably faster.
Yeah, I don't think faster is always better either. And I don't think AI knows anything that a seasoned formulator couldn't figure out.
No, I guess to me, what the AI would help do is like if you need a brand story, AI is great for something like that. Helping you shape your brand story. But all the formulas are going to all be kind of what's already out there. There's not going to be any innovation in the formula. But if you had an idea for a beauty product, you could go to ChatGPT and say, "Here's my idea. Give me a launch plan." And I think it'd do a pretty good job of giving you that. You're just going to use contract manufacturers and existing formulas. But I think she's right. AI will make it so there's more cosmetic, as the kids would say, cosmetic beauty slop products.
Yeah,
I don't know, but
slop
there's
is
always
right.
been that.
Well, the thing is, there's certain things in the development process you can't speed up. And while you can use
Right.
AI to screen, and this is not any like ChatGPT or Gemini, but real AI platforms designed to screen peptides or emulsifiers
Yeah.
and to check your stability. At the end of the day, you have to still do stability and compatibility and
Yeah.
all this testing. And AI is not going to speed that up. It might get your formula to a more predictive place, but guess what? I don't
Right.
use AI from that retrospect. And,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot. And sometimes you can, use things that are tried and true and you put one change into it and there's a shift that you didn't anticipate for some reason. So I
Yeah.
don't even think on the true raw development side it necessarily speeds things up.
I would agree with you there too. Yeah, you still got to run a 12-week stability test. I don't believe AI can predict that, and it won't be able to do that for a while. All right, the last one. Joyce predicts there's the end of clean beauty since consumers are getting savvier and they want real data instead of science washing. You know what? I push back on that. I mean, consumers are still I don't know, convinced, fooled, I might say, by what you see as science washing or greenwashing. That stuff still sells, so I don't see that going away.
I honestly like to akin this to different people on our side of the industry saying parabens are going to come back in and fighting the good paraben fight. And you did it for a while as well. I feel like you were in defense of parabens. And at the end of the day, consumers don't want to go back to parabens. It's too ingrained. That ship has sailed. And I feel like this is the same thing. It's wishful thinking. The majority of consumers think their beauty products do some harm or have the potential to cause harm. And at the end of the day, they don't want certain things in their products. And that's the premise of clean beauty, and that's not going anywhere.
As long as people are buying these products, marketers are still going to come up with stories to say that their product is safer than their competitors because it's fear marketing works. It just works. It's just how people are. And the products aren't safer. You aren't making your skin better, but if you're afraid of somebody else's product, you're going to go buy that. And if some marketer can take advantage of that, they are going to do that. So I don't see clean beauty going away, despite what science says about it.
Exactly. We do have some listener comments from a listener, Riva.
It's your voice we want to hear. Welcome to listener feedback right here.
Hi, Beauty Brains. Love your program and have been listening for many years. I would like to correct a small point made during your discussion about the FDA approving bemetrizanol. I'm a consumer, not a regulator or a scientist, but as far as I understand, Canada does not follow the same SPF regulations as the US. We have a hybrid model where SPFs can be classified as a drug or natural health product. In addition to many of the same filters, we also have Uvanil and Maroxyl, among others, that are not yet available in the US. Similar but different. All the best, Riva.
I'm not in Canada, so I don't know, but I thought they kind of followed all the same approvals that the FDA did.
Yes, we did make that comment in passing and didn't go into the finer details that Canada does have their own version of the FDA, Health Canada. If you have
Right.
a zinc oxide or titanium dioxide sunscreen, it's actually considered a natural health product versus a traditional SPF. And so it gets a natural health product number versus a drug identification number. And yeah, there are a few other filters, but for the most part, companies are formulating for the US and Canada in mind. And so they just follow the US formulation guidelines, which is what we were intending to say. But there are different regulatory pathways, correct?
Exactly. Well, we always do appreciate comments, so thank you for that, Reva.
Thank you. All right, well, let's answer some questions. Our first question comes to us from Heather.
Heather says, thank you so much for your service. I'm a bleached curly hair curl specialist. I've been using the Olaplex Bond Shaper Curl Rebuilding Treatment on my clients as needed. I think it provides decent results. Hard to say because I don't see my clients for a while after, though I do ask them to tell me what they observe after. Anyway, I'm curious how it works and also why they suggest not washing for 2 days after. All right, looks like the treatment has 3 different parts to it: a repair, enhance, and define.
I have tried not the professional treatment that's here, repair, enhance, and define, but I've tried the take-home products that are recommended by Olaplex, and in my opinion, they're fine. They're nothing super special, but in terms of the professional treatment, I think Olaplex is kind of following their own model. They have this, essentially what is a solution that soaks the hair. This peptide, which is the bond shaping technology, can either penetrate the hair or sit on the surface of the hair. You enhance it with essentially a surfactant system, and then put a take-home product on it that is very conditioning, has some styling polymers in it, and helps create style within the hair.
Basically, this is just like any other curl treatment product you have, to make your hair look smoother and springier. But they have that added ingredient that is Olaplex that they say is their bond building ingredient that theoretically repairs the disulfide bonds inside the hair. And so, there's at least, they say there's a plausible mechanism behind their technologies. Whether consumers can notice any difference, I don't know.
Well, it is a short peptide, so an oligopeptide's pretty small, maybe just a couple dozen or less amino acids in it, and they might have some data that shows this little tiny peptide goes into the hair fiber. I personally haven't seen the data, so I can't state that, but any peptide penetrating the hair will interact with the hair bonds in some way. Maybe not disulfide bonds, but it will react with ionic bonds or hydrogen bonds, because peptides have both positive charges and negative charges, and so they can kind of interact with things in the hair. Is it doing anything special that another oligopeptide or dipeptide couldn't do? I'm not sure about that. I don't think so, based on what I know about peptides and the hair fiber. And I do believe it probably is doing something in hair, but I think it's, a great story, probably really nice products. And you probably could use some other things that have the same type of effect. The reason they probably tell you not to wash the hair for a couple days after is they want to make sure that you're not rinsing off any of the molecules that haven't had a chance to find their spot in the hair. Is my guess.
Yeah, theoretically, the longer it's on there without being rinsed off, you could have more chemical reactions. Although I suspect it's happening pretty quickly, and there's not a lot going on after, the first day or so.
Yeah, and it's interesting, the second step has a little bit of hydrogen peroxide in there, and so this probably also tells me there's some kind of neutralization step going on within the hair. So very interesting.
Yeah, it's good to see some technology out there. Now, whether it's much better than just some other curl treatment, it would be hard to tell. But if your clients are happy about it, that they're happy.
Yeah. So how it works, I'm not really sure in summary, a peptide probably goes in. There's a neutralization step similar to a perm that's probably doing something within the hair. And then there's this really great styling product afterwards. That's probably it.
Yeah. All right, thanks for that question.
Our next question comes from Amy. Hello, Beauty Brains. I was recently going through the airport in another country and had extra time on my hands. I was sucked into trying and buying Atox Lift and Locked Wrinkle Solution by StemTox Skin Systems, and immediately my under eyes looked great. I'm always so careful about falling for overly hyped and priced products, but not this day. They claimed it had plant stem cells, and that's what made it work. I know it probably is a form of a temporary polymer, but had to ask the two smartest beauty brains I know. I feel a bit foolish for even asking, but this product is actually over $1,000. Is that right? $1,000 online, and I thought I got a deal at $200 plus. Any thoughts? Have you heard of this, or did I just fall for this line? By the way, Perry, you're the patron saint of kitties. Your stories always warm my heart. I'm a kitty foster failure of a beautiful lynx Siamese, and I'm grateful for fostering for the past 3 years.
Well, yeah, kitties are so friendly and nice, and boy, they can be very affectionate and they can be very aloof too. But I like them.
I like the aloofness. Well, this StemTox product is very interesting. First of all, I think the most important thing is that you liked it.
Yeah. Well, I will also say, yes, $1,200 US for 0.42 ounces. What? Wow.
Good thing it's for the eyes and you don't need a lot.
Yeah, that is true, but it's not going to last very long, I guess.
Okay, yeah, so I'm on that page. It doesn't have the ingredients or anything.
It says ingredients: argan plant stem cells, acacia plant stem cells, coconut oil, avocado oil. Yeah, it doesn't actually give you the ingredient list, which is, that's kind of a thing that companies have started to do, that actually putting the ingredient list online, but it's weird that they haven't done that. And I'm looking at their packaging and they don't have any image of their ingredient list. So that's kind of interesting. As far as ingredients go, they have the Atox, they have the B-Tox, the C-Tox. Okay, so they have palmitoyl tetrapeptide 7 in there. They have palmitoyl tetrapeptide 1.
Yeah, I mean, I wish we had the full ingredient list.
Yeah, it's hard to know. I mean, they just show the ingredients that they want people to see. But, the glycerin, hyaluronic acid, I mean, look, as far as I'm concerned, when you see a company like this, which is probably a smaller company, they're spending a lot of money, they don't have scientists or researchers that are doing more than what P&G or L'Oreal or one of the big guys are doing. And so it's highly unlikely that they're going to have any technology that you couldn't get from one of the big guys. And so what they can do that the big guys can't do is come out with a $1,200 product and sell it, because big companies need to sell a certain amount of volume before it becomes worth it for them to sell a product. That's why smaller companies can charge huge amounts, because they don't have to sell a lot to keep their business going. Whereas big companies need to sell a lot, so they can't sell these hugely expensive products. So all that is to say, I'm skeptical that this would be worth $1,200 to improve your eyes. I mean, I don't see any technology here that you couldn't get somewhere else.
Now, certainly, if this were $200 retail, I would be like, it's worth a try, especially since you tried it and you felt like, wow, you're in an airport, your under eyes are in the worst condition that they could be, in my opinion, if you're flying. And the fact that you liked it is the most important thing. Now, should you replenish this at $1,200? The answer is absolutely not. For $1,200, you could get Botox, fillers,
right,
lots of other things that probably do more permanent, real restoration. But I'm curious. I really want to try it. I see someone selling it used on Poshmark. I can't bring myself to do that, but if anyone had some and they just wanted to squirt a little in a cup, I would give you $25.
Wait a second. They're selling a used product? Somebody already used it and then they're selling...
Well, you're not supposed to sell used products, but, this person got it probably tried
Sure.
it, didn't like it. Oh, I'm just going to sell it and say it's new. I only took one pump out, right? I want to see the
okay.
return rate on this company's stuff. That's what I would like to see because they do have a return policy, and I would imagine it's kind of high.
Yeah, and as far as feeling that immediate result, it's probably from the film forming ingredients that we know there probably are in there, but we don't know exactly what those are. But that's kind of what they do. You know, you create the film on your skin, and then when it dries down, it sort of tightens it up, and that's kind of how these anti-puffy things work.
So you're saying I shouldn't try it? I look pretty tired right now. I just got back from a 19-hour drive with baby C.
I'm saying, if you send me $25, I'll squirt something in a jar and you can try that. It'll probably be glycerin with some PVP.
Oh my goodness.
All right, next question comes to us from Valerio. Well, it's a two-parter, and yeah. Hi, Beauty Brains. I'm Valerio, and I'm a professional hairdresser. I'm from Naples in the south of Italy, the best part of Italy. I have two questions for you guys. One, in the hair color composition, the tube plus peroxide, which one creates more damage in the hair shaft, the alkalizer or the hydrogen peroxide, and what kind of damage is that? And then the second question is, I wish to be part of a course in hair chemistry by Valerie. You did that at Suppliers Day in May, I believe.
I sure did.
But I live in Italy, so is there any online course for those of us who don't live in the States? Thank you for your information and any information you share. You guys are precious. Oh, well, thanks for that. Well, on that course, actually, Valerie and I were just talking, and we're going to try to introduce that course in September for people. So keep an ear out for that. We'll let people know.
Well, Valerio, great question. In hair color, if we're talking about permanent hair color, where you have a tube of cream hair color and peroxide, the tube either contains something that makes a high pH. It's either ammonia or monoethanolamine. And you have a separate bottle of hydrogen peroxide developer. And when those two are mixed, it helps develop the hair color into a color. It helps it penetrate the hair, and it helps remove your hair's existing melanin in order to get the new color to show up and your old color to get a little bit removed.
Yeah. Sure.
Now, you may think that the alkalizer is the worst part. It smells, it's a high pH, it's creating a really terrible environment, but the true damaging material is the hydrogen peroxide because it's not an intelligent material. It goes into the hair very efficiently, it's very tiny, and it is looking for electrons. And ideally, it would hit the electrons in your melanin, which gives your hair its natural color. But before then, it's running into your hair protein, keratin, and it's attacking anything it can there, which is highly damaging to the hair. It's even worse at a high pH. And so if you just put hydrogen peroxide alone, probably not too bad. I mean, it wouldn't be great for the hair, but it has this synergistic activity when it's in a high pH. And so for that reason, I think hydrogen peroxide is the worst. When you're coloring hair, you're also adding a little bit more hydrogen peroxide than you need to facilitate that reaction because you want your guest in the chair to have the experience done pretty fast. They don't want to be coloring their hair for 2 days, right? You want them in and out in an hour. So you're putting a little bit more. So definitely for these reasons, I think hydrogen peroxide is more damaging for your hair, and it essentially breaks apart your hair keratin, which results in reduced strength.
And that's not going to get repaired easily.
It is a permanent effect, pretty much. So, yeah, use less peroxide than you need to. And also, I will say the alkalizer choice makes a difference. I just want to throw this in. So I mentioned the two choices are pretty much ammonia or monoethanolamine. And ammonia and monoethanolamine, you use them once, the damage is about the same. And this is, it's a little complicated to explain, but this is presuming they're the same activity in the formula. Use it once, they're the same. Use it second time, a third time, a fourth time. Monoethanolamine is actually more damaging to the hair because it doesn't leave the hair very easily. Ammonia is a gas. That's why it's annoying and hair color is stinky. But when you use ammonia-free hair color, you're like, oh, this is so great, it doesn't smell, but it actually is harder to get out of the hair, and you get more damage over time to your hair protein.
Yeah, it just stays in the hair and keeps on damaging.
Keeps on partying. So Valerio, I hope that helps, and maybe we'll see you in the fall online. Next question comes to us from Lisa. My Fitzpatrick score is 4, so zinc oxides are white on my skin. Therefore, I look for hybrids and tints. But I'd like to find something that blends more easily. Every chemical filter absolutely kills my eyes. I've tried most, every LRP, ELF, Supergoop, CeraVe, Cetaphil, and none has not killed it after an hour. You mentioned a waxy feel to stop migration. Can you recommend a product or tell me an ingredient to look for? Thanks.
These are always hard questions for me to answer because, what you like and what works for you is always such a personal choice, right? And when somebody says that, oh, every chemical filter just kills my eyes, I mean, everyone? It's hard to know what to do with that.
Well, the problem is most SPFs are like kind of oily feeling, and they migrate on skin, and they migrate right into the eyes. And let me tell you, there is one, it was put into a gift bag at a Society of Cosmetic Chemists event, and everyone was trash talking this SPF. And I actually thought it was pretty great. I wish I could remember the name of it. I can't. It'll come to me. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name. But let me tell you about another. And people didn't like it because it had this like waxy kind of feel on the skin. But there's another one that I was gifted actually by the people who developed it. It was Alicia Keys' Protect Your Light Daily Moisturizer Broad Spectrum SPF 30. I mean, I have like kind of white skin, but I did not feel there was a really big cast. It's a hybrid. And I felt like it did pretty well. Now, if you're a 4, is it going to do well? I don't know. But that thing stayed put on your face. And I like to periodically kind of touch my face throughout the day because I always felt it there. I didn't like rub, but I would just, don't touch your face. It's there. And I thought it was pretty nice. And I've actually bought it since using it. And I am a fan of the waxiness.
Well, maybe a sunscreen stick used like around the eyes might help prevent that kind of a thing. So, I guess you could use sunscreen, like the typical chemicals, other places, and then around the eyes or in your face to use a stick. Maybe that would help prevent that stinging.
I don't like the sticks. I don't feel like they're waxy. I feel like they're kind of glycol-y. Does that make sense? It just feels like you put a humectant on the face, and I'm not a fan of that.
It's all like a personal choice and feel. So unfortunately, there's not one simple answer to this, but those are our thoughts.
Yeah. Well, anyway, give the Alicia Keys a try. Like I said, and there's actually some videos of maybe Fitz types 3 and 4 reviewing it online. I just took a look, and you can check it out from them. I also like, by the way, that it's an affordable price point. And if we remember the name that was left in the dinner dance gift bag that was very waxy, and everyone hated it except for me, and I was like, give me all the SPF. I'm going to try to remember and tell you. Because those two did not go into the eyes. And I have other recommendations, but they would leave a white cast on your skin. So I can't give those. But
and my recommendation is to wear a hat.
Oh.
Big brim.
No, she wants to have really good-looking skin for a long time. All right, one more question from Lori.
Yeah, Lori says the Balm is a solid moisturizer created by Dr. Natasha Bonjout from France. It costs $130 for 1 ounce. Are the ingredients worth the splurge? The Balm Solid Moisturizer. Have you seen this product?
No, but like I just said, I'm not a huge fan of solid moisturizers. I don't like sticks. I don't like, I don't mind putting it on like parts of the body, but on the face, I'm just not a huge fan of it. And I actually have seen this product. It's all over my Instagram.
Sure.
I just, and the Instagram's really great. I'm like, let me try it. And then I'm like, no, you don't like the solid balms. Because again, they kind of have this like really topical feel to them.
Well, it's a Credo beauty product. You can find it through them. And they say it functions as a 8-in-1 multitasker, replacing your serum, moisturizer, eye cream, night cream, lip balm, treatment salve, primer, and overnight mask. Wow, that's a lot to do in one product.
Yeah. Now, let me retract my statement about
All right.
the balms.
You like a balm? Is this what you're saying?
No, I don't. I don't really.
Okay.
But I don't like to use it as a skincare product, okay? And this is why I don't like that they say, oh, it replaces 8 products, because at the end of the day, it just really, the only thing it does is it prevents water loss on your skin. It's not really like a moisturizer and an eye cream. They do different things. And besides, like, eye creams have actives in them specific for the eye area, which is why, believe it or not, I'm an eye cream proponent. But the one thing I do like about a solid, in air quotes, moisturizer or balm in a pot is that you can create a ritual. So what I like to do, and I actually used to use the May Lindstrom balm for this because I like the smell. It's just a ritual, and I didn't necessarily put it on my face, but I would like put it on my chest or maybe my stomach or whatever. And I created like a nighttime routine and ritual, and then maybe I would like wash it with it or something like that. So I wouldn't use it as a skincare replacement, but I did like the ritual piece of it. So that's the only time I would use a solid moisturizer, and I would never use one in a stick. Just not for me.
Well, I'm looking at that. They advertise it as having 68 actives in their concentration, but then I'm looking at their ingredient list. I don't see 68 ingredients, but
there are not 68
seems like
ingredients.
A lot.
Maybe there's 68 letters.
It could, but they have squalane, sunflower seed wax, ceramide NP, palmitotrite, tetrapeptide, all this kind of stuff that you find everywhere else. They have rutin in there, R-U-T-I-N.
Do you know what that is?
I do not. No,
Me neither.
It sounds like something derived from, a fungi or something. I don't know.
Yeah, never heard of it.
It's antioxidant, sourced from plants. So they have like a lot of stuff. Interesting to me though, they have geranol and linalool. So this has got some fragrance in it.
In addition to farnesol, citronellol, yeah. The other thing I don't like is that they say the product contains, I remember from clicking on the Facebook ad or Instagram ad being like, should I get this? And, does it replace my May Lindstrom ritual? They say it has 21 amino acids in it. And the reason I don't like this statement is, first of all, they do not have amino acids intentionally added to the product. It might come from hydrolyzed collagen or some other plant material they have in there, but that's not really the same as adding 21 amino acids. Like, amino acids on their own do different things than when they're in a polymer form.
Right. But also, I thought there were only 20 amino acids. What's the other one?
Well, I think there's 20 essential amino acids. I think there's other ones.
Yeah, but in making proteins in the body, I think we only use 20. I mean, you can make other ones, sure, certainly, but 21 is an interesting choice there. But perhaps there was another one discovered since I was in biochemistry back in college.
Yeah, I think 20 are the essential, like we gotta have them.
Okay.
And then there's like 9 our bodies don't produce, that kind of thing. But I think there are more. They just don't exist in humans.
All right.
Well, I want to know if anyone has tried this product, because like I said, it's beautiful.
You're product curious here, huh?
I'm just product curious, but after buying the Dr. Few products, I took a risk, and that was an expensive risk I took, and this is also an expensive risk, and I can't take it.
Would be expensive. It seems to me that this at least would last longer than that eye cream, because this first that's only $130, and
balms
you get
do
more,
last a long time. That is correct.
Yeah.
So you're right there.
You know what? You know what else lasts a long time? Underarm deodorant. I've had like the same stick for like 4 months.
Yeah, it does.
And but I think there's some trick that they're doing. I think they colored the packaging the same color as the product. And so I might be out of product, and I'm just still using it. So
No, I think it lasts a long time. I think it does. Because, really, how much are you putting on,
Yeah, you're not putting on much. So it makes you wonder, how do these companies stay in business?
I don't know. Well,
people buy a product.
Speaking of stay in business, I have to sign off and get to work. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you get a chance, head over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and leave us a review. That will help other people find the show and ensure we have a full docket of beauty questions to answer.
Speaking of questions, if you have a question and want to hear your voice on the show, you can just record it on your smartphone and email it to thebeautybrains@gmail.com, or you can call 1-872-216-1856 and leave a voicemail. Hey, the Beauty Brains are also on Patreon. If you appreciate the fact that we don't have commercials and sponsors and we can talk about products however we want, that's only because we're supported by our listeners on Patreon. So head on over to patreon.com/thebeautybrains and subscribe at any level. For our patrons, we also will occasionally have special events. You get transcripts and you get to have your questions answered in a higher priority than everyone else.
Also follow us on our various social media accounts. On Instagram, we're at The Beauty Brains 2018. On X, we're at The Beauty Brains. On Bluesky, we're at The Beauty Brains. We have a Facebook page, a TikTok, and a YouTube.
Did you see that I actually put something on TikTok for Beauty Brains?
I'm not on TikTok.
Oh, well, I actually did. So if you're on TikTok, check it out.
Thanks again for listening, everyone. And remember, be brainy about your beauty.
Thanks, everyone. Kittens.